This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Jin Melancholy, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J. It is a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the sinner, Jin Melancholy.
Thank you so much, dude. That is awesome. I love that intro.
Well, we like
love
to
it.
big here.
And by the way, this is a treat for you. You're my first interview.
Oh, well, we absolutely love being the first here at Wrestling With. Can you tell us what you have coming up and where we can find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on social media at Jin Melancholy and on Instagram, jin.melancholy. And when it comes to wrestling, I have nothing coming up.
There's not exactly a big wrestling scene in Kuwait, no?
Exactly. That's exactly what we're going to talk about later. There's a problem there. We have no wrestling schools or wrestling careers at all here.
Well, first and foremost, all of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. So I mean, you mentioned that there's no wrestling scene in Kuwait. So
that's correct.
Where are you have you had your eyes on somewhere to venture out to actually compete?
Well, here's the thing. I had to go above and beyond just to go to wrestling school, and I chose the Nightmare Factory because I wanted to go for the best, and so what? But I had to actually take a bank loan just to go to America. It's a very long way, and I had to stay there for 3 months. I knew nobody. I had nowhere to go, so I had to just start from zero, and it cost me a lot of money just to learn. And ever since I graduated from there, I had a lot of I had my eyes on a lot of places that I want to wrestle at, and I emailed them and contacted them, and I don't know why, but I had no reply. No one answered me back.
Right. That's not, unfortunately, not unusual for the United States.
Well, that's what I heard. I talked to somebody, and they told me, well, independent scene, they want someone who lives there because they don't want to pay for your flight and have to promote you for months before. And so I had to wrestle in my own area. And I even talked to Coach QT after I graduated, and he said, try to wrestle in the Middle East. And I said, well, I've tried. There's only like 2 or 3 companies, and none of them answered my question. Like I asked them to be there. I asked if they want me to wrestle. No replies at all. I don't understand what's going on.
Have you gone down there and introduced yourself?
I did go, but I did not introduce myself because it wasn't that easy to do. It was an official event, let's say, so I couldn't actually talk to anybody. And when I asked for someone who's in charge, and they say, I don't know where he is, or you cannot talk to them. And I had to sit with myself and say, why would they not even answer with a no? And literally the only answer I got was because I don't look like a wrestler.
That's insane. And you...
I mean, let's just be honest here. When I first said, like the words came out of my mouth, I want to wrestle or be a wrestler, the first thing or any comment that comes is a joke or a laugh at me because they think, oh, wrestlers should be buff and big and muscular. And they think that I don't want to be that or I'm not trying. But the truth is, and I'm here trying to say the truth and tell my story, I have something that I never told anybody to this day in the camp. My family knows. But the camp, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm the victim or like treat me differently. I didn't want to say anything. But I have eating disorder, something that prevents me from eating most of the healthy food, if not all of it. And that's why my body looks the way it is. I am actually the best shape of my life, which is nothing compared to any other wrestler. This is like a normal body. Also, I have a background of me going everywhere, going to try CrossFit, trying mixed martial arts. I did everything I could, and I reached a lot of accomplishments, but still, to this day, if I'm meeting someone who never saw me in action, they'll be like, you're not even trying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And, it's funny, like you said, they say, you don't look like a wrestler when arguably you have the best training of probably any of the guys that they currently have on their roster.
I mean, I was trained by the best, and let me tell you something. I had the best time of my life training with these people because they all not only did they joke around and have fun with us, but they also gave you a lot of insight to wrestling and the good old days. Coach QT used to talk a lot about, oh, wrestling in the 90s was different, and he used to say what would happen, like the receipts, and no one said, oh, you hit me too hard or whatever. And I love that because it gives you more than one generation of an idea of wrestling.
Right.
And you get to learn all of that at the same time.
Well, if I can ask, there
Sure.
are a wealth of pro wrestling schools in America. Nightmare Factory, Black and Brave, a couple, not Nightmare, Monster Factory. What made you settle on Nightmare Factory?
Can I be honest here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the only reason, because I wanted to wrestle for so long and I didn't get an opportunity, there was that day where my friend sent me this post. They were promoting their school. It was like the first or second camp, I think. I think they're first. So I just knew about it and it just started. And I said to my friend, well, they're not going to accept me because no other school would accept me. And he said, well, you just pay and go. They don't deny anyone. And I said, well, okay, but why that wrestling school? And he told me, well, QT and Cody Rhodes are there. They're the main coaches. And I wanted to be in AEW so badly. So I said, oh, I'm going. I'm definitely going because these two can actually help me go to AEW. I am a huge wrestling fan. I love watching all kinds of wrestling. But AEW is exactly what I want to be in, like where I want to be at.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
You were here. You were in Georgia for 3 months. What was the experience like? Being in America for you?
That experience in particular?
Yes.
It was hell. It was really bad personally because it's not the people. I love the people. They were so kind, and sometimes I needed them. Like I needed to interact with them. But literally, I was living the place where the school is near it. There was no social life. It wasn't in the city. I was stranded somewhere where there were no lights in the streets. I literally walked in the dark at night, and everything closed so early. I come from a country where it's 24/7, like New York. We have everything open, lights everywhere. So where I went there, everything closed at like 6 or 7. And I had to like be alone. I was alone most of the time. I couldn't wait to go back to school every day because that's the only interaction I was having on a daily basis. I tried to make some friends. It didn't really work. I mean, not close friends, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I spent most of my time alone in that apartment, not going anywhere. And to me, it actually affected my psyche, and it led to a very, very bad day at the office.
Was that bad day at the office where you tore 2 ligaments in your ankle?
Oh, I wish. That wasn't even half as bad. That day, I mean, I'm going to tell you something about that day that I had this injury. First of all, it was 2 weeks before the shooting of our matches. 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
And I accidentally, out of nowhere, randomly, I just asked the coach, can I record the match on my phone just to see? And he's like, yeah, just don't post it. And I recorded the moment I got injured, and it was horrible to watch. It was so bad. I want to publish it so badly, but I cannot because on the background you can see everyone.
Okay.
But yeah, that day we just were training, and they gave us, at the end of the camp, they said, every day we're going to have some training, and then we're going to do matches. So they put me in a intergender tag team match with Jessica, who you just had on your podcast or
Yes,
YouTube.
Jessica Black.
Yes, she was my partner. I love her so much. And we were heels, of course, and we were against 2 other wrestlers. And in that match, we were so hyped and we were doing so good. But then because a wrestler against me was shorter than me, the female wrestler, Megan, I don't know if you know her.
Yes, I know who
Megan. Yes, she was against me, and she tried to give me a clothesline. And because I was so tall, or not so tall, but taller than her, I accidentally, my right ankle went underneath me, and I took the clothesline to the back.
Ooh.
So my ankle was all the way to the back, and I went all the way down. I was like, for sure, I broke it. And I stood up, continued the match. I carried someone on my back in that match while I was looking at the coaches terrified. And I finished the match. Everyone was silent. Everyone was worried. Megan and Jessica came up to me and were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. And I couldn't stand up, but I was sitting there and taking the critique. And Billy Gunn was there, and he was very angry at me. I'm like, okay, I didn't mean to. And he's like, no. It's not about the injury. I'm like, oh, did I do something wrong? And he started to say how I started the match wasn't something he liked. And we talked about that. And we ignored the injury. Days later, I noticed I couldn't stand, or I couldn't jump. I could not jump. So I didn't want to be that person who canceled the training. I was there every day, but I was like, if I can not jump today, that would be great. And we used to do the drills at the beginning to heat up our bodies, like the roll-ups, or not the roll-ups, sorry, the rolls and the jump squats or whatever. And I screamed. And luckily for me, Coach Luke was right there, eye contact, and heard me and saw me. And I felt, oh, fuck, I am so out of this nightmare camp graduation thing because it's 2 weeks away. So yeah, that was a bad day for me, but yeah, I had worse. I had much worse. Yeah, I'll tell you all about what happened later when we continue.
Well, we'll get to that in one moment.
Yeah,
you're not you were in America, like I said, for 3 months. Not from America.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me to know, what are you eating in America?
Oh no! You're asking the worst question because I just told you I have an eating disorder, so you will not believe what I'm gonna tell you right now. Every day, and I hope Cutie doesn't hear this. Every day before training, I ate Burger King.
Okay.
Every day. Because it was the only restaurant near me that I ate and nothing else I could eat. I didn't like much of the food because this is what happens in my own country also. It's not just your country. So the problem is me, definitely. And I shop for a lot of foods. I tried everything. I just have a huge problem with food that I try to resolve, but it's just heartbreaking how it's impossible to solve that easily. And I ate a lot of junk food. A lot of junk food.
Well, we're very good with our junk foods in America. We do junk
I mean,
food
yeah.
very well.
By the way, everything I eat here in Kuwait is American, just so you know. I am an American at heart. I watch all American shows, movies, music. I know everything about you guys. And by the way, when I came to camp, the first day I asked Coach QT, can we use our wrestling names or do we have to use our real names? And he said to me, did you wrestle before? And I said, no. He said, why would you have a wrestling name? I didn't want to say my actual name because you guys cannot pronounce it right and you'll know, oh, he's not from here. So I just said, my name is Jin Melancholy, and he loved it. He kept calling me Jin and making jokes about the drinks or whatever. But eventually, after we had that bad day, everyone was like telling him, oh, Jin is not even from America. He's like, what? He's not American? I'm like, everyone's like, no. So he didn't even know I'm not American. Nothing. No accent, not the face, nothing. He just thought I was from America.
You know, that's not the first time I've heard something similar where QT, great at training pro wrestlers, maybe not the most absorbent of what his students actually are.
Well, to be honest, and he says that, I'm just quoting him, he doesn't give a fuck. So I love that about him. I love that. He is a guy who's real, he's honest. Oh my God, it was such a fresh thing to see when he just said it to my face. He's like, oh, you're stupid. Oh, you just did that wrong. I'm like, yes, that's what I need. I don't need people to say, oh, you did good, but I didn't. And he was that guy. I loved him for that. I actually missed him the days he wasn't there because he was going for AEW on Wednesdays.
Right.
I missed him all those days. I loved having him there, his energy. I know a lot of people will have a problem with him because he's too honest. He's like rude to some people, but I am exactly like that. I am that person. So I understand him and I love him. And by the way, before I went there, I knew all about him. I know much more than I should. And I had this conversation with his wife, which also trained there. She was the nutrition coach.
Okay.
And I love her, by the way. I love her so much. And she and I had this conversation, and she said, oh, QT or whatever. And I said, oh, I know. And she's like, oh, okay. And I said, I know who you are before I came here. I just pretended I didn't know you when I shook your hand. She's like, oh, okay. The creepy. Because I'm obsessed with them, but I'm not going to show that because I'm not a fan. I'm now trying to wrestle. I'm training to wrestle.
Right.
But I love him so much. I love his personality.
Now, we mentioned it, and we're now going to go to, your actual debut match. You wrestled Matt Black.
Oh, yeah.
How was that experience? All things considering, what led up to that match?
That's a very funny story, actually, because it leads up to where it all started, the injury.
Right.
When I got injured, I actually believed, and I asked a lot of the guys with us, I was like, do you think I'm going to wrestle? And they said, of course. They're just going to put you in the Battle Royal. I'm like, okay. So I'm giving up. I mean, the Battle Royal is fine. It's just not the place you want to be if you want to have a spotlight on you. And I remember a lot of the guys were very upset when they were announced in that Battle Royal. I don't find it upsetting. It's just everyone wants the spotlight. It's like, oh, either you're the world champion or just a mid-carder. Everyone wants to be the world champion. But being a mid-carder is not bad. So I accepted the idea that I'm going to be in the Battle Royal. So the final 2 weeks, they started to say, oh, now we're going to see who is compatible with others. And we're having these matches every day. They put me with Jessica. They wanted to see if we're going to have an intergender match maybe or whatever. They tried everything. I had singles matches with a lot of the guys in the camp, and tag team matches also. So I, like the first month, me, Matt, and some of the guys went out to drink. They drank. I don't drink. Okay. And I was sitting next to Matt, and he's like, so nice to see you. You're out. You're whatever. And I'm like, can I ask you a question? Who in the camp would you like to wrestle? And he said, I don't care. I'll wrestle a broomstick. I can make it look good. And that night, if he asked me the same question, my answer would have been, I want to wrestle you. Because the only guy who caught my eye, not physically, but he was the most brutal one. He did not shy from hitting you hard. He had the character. He knew how to take a bump. He was the perfect wrestler. And by the way, he's not a new trainee. He is already a wrestler in Canada. So he doesn't even need to be here, in my opinion. He's already good. He can sign anywhere he wants. So I wanted to wrestle him because I knew that he and I could hurt each other. And I love that. So the final 2 weeks, I was like, okay, I'm not even going to be against anyone else. Like, this is done. And literally 2 days? No, not 2 days. I think 4 days before the finale, what do we call it? The showcase. The showcase, yes. 4 days before the showcase, they said, we're going to announce the matches tonight. And they had this paper. And I was so sad. I was miserable. And they just said the names, and they went through the names, and they said, Matt versus Jin. And I thought for a second that I heard it incorrectly, that I had to glance back at Matt, and he smiled at me like, oh, okay. The thing is, days prior, I went to QT and said, I would love to wrestle Matt. Do we get to choose our opponents? He's like, no. So I'm like, okay, never mind then. So I guess he took that into consideration, and he thought, well, Matt can carry Jin throughout the match, and he's professional at it. Even if Jin gets hurt during the match, he's very good at doing his thing. And we start to train for our final match for the past 3-4 days. He was brutal in every match. I don't care. He doesn't care if it was training. He doesn't care for just making things up. He hit me hard every single time, and I loved it. He was the perfect opponent for me. And I hit him harder. He said, hit me back. And I did it. Every kick, every submission maneuver, it was almost real. I did everything I could to hurt him as much as he did to me. Every time he hit me, it was real. And the reason why I wanted that, because my whole life people are saying wrestling is fake. And I think that makes me angry most from anyone's mouth. And when I had that match, I knew whoever watches it cannot say that. I don't care about the other matches. I care about my match, about what I do in that ring. I didn't want to be with someone who's like, oh, go easy on me, or like, give me some punches to the air. I don't want that. And Matt is exactly who I wanted. And he was such a pro at it. He gave me ideas. We talked about the match. We adjusted it a lot. We had more than one finish. I loved working with him. And he knows that. I told him a lot. So this is not a surprise. Yeah.
Now, that being your first match, is that a moment that you take in the moment? Or is that something that kind of set in afterwards? Like, wow, I did this.
Well, everyone in my position will say the same thing, which is, oh, this is my dream. I've always wanted this. But I can only talk about myself and say, that day is the best day of my life. To this day, I don't care what else happens in my life. This was the best day because I had this dream where I thought it would never happen. And it went perfectly. For some reason, it was perfect. The opponent I wanted, the referee I wanted. I only wanted one referee, and he came up to me prior to the match and said, hey, my name is whatever, and I'm sorry, I just don't remember his name, I'm sorry. And he said, I'm going to be the referee in your match. And I was like, oh, oh my God, everything's going smoothly the way I wanted. And I was afraid that I would get injured that day, and nothing happened. I kicked him with that same foot, and I was okay. I don't know why, because that same week we trained, and I jumped on that leg, and I had to stop the match.
Ouch.
I couldn't continue, and I was so mad. I was like, this cannot happen in the showcase. I can't do this. And thank God it didn't happen. So to me, that day, it's actually, the match felt like 2 minutes, by the way. When I went out, I'm like, did we skip stuff? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, it seemed so fast. I didn't want to get out of that ring. I actually wanted to do more in that match, but they didn't accept any of my suggestions. I wanted Fire to be involved. I wanted the table to be involved. They were like, nope, this is your first match, not your last. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a dreamer, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to start a match with Fire and tables, you probably have to go to CCW for that.
Oh, I would love to wrestle there. I mean, so many, but literally, the thing is, which is the fact, I am a person who had one match, trained for only 3 months in a ring, never stepped into a ring again, by the way, and I am from the Middle East, far away from them. Right. All the companies I want to wrestle in. So if I were them, I wouldn't want to contact that person because I have so many options already near where I am. Like Britain, they have their own wrestler scene, and right. America has so many wrestler scenes. So why would they contact me? Why would they want me to come all that way there if they only saw one match?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I absolutely understand.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not going to, stay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't because I work here. My whole life is here. I have an apartment here. I have a bank loan that I still am paying back for that camp. So I would love to move to America, by the way. I'm not against the idea. It's just that I have to have a contract, right? Which is not really given to anyone. But for example, Jade Cargill was a newbie when she got the contract, right?
Yeah.
So they took her in and they trained her, and then the whole time she was there, she had a contract. If I had that opportunity, I would definitely go for it. But the thing is, it's really kind of impossible to be trained from zero if there's nothing really special about you. Jade has the look. She has the body. She has everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they want to adapt to you, you have to have something different. And I guess I don't have that. So I talked to Cutie about this. I'm like, do you think Tony Khan would be interested in me? And he's like, well, he likes to have all kind of nationalities in his company. That's a plus. But other than that, I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's a no. So yeah, it's a kind no. But I get it. I have to do much more to get someone's attention, and not just someone, the big company's attentions.
Right. Now, in that match, like we said before, you had 2 torn ligaments in your ankle, and that was actually mentioned on commentary. I believe the commentator even said, well, he's channeling the spirit of Cody Rhodes. Obviously, the torn pec and the Hell in a Cell match. How does that make you feel, like, being compared to Cody on commentary?
I mean, I was definitely surprised by that. And actually, sometimes when you live the moment, you don't realize what is actually happening. When I had that torn ligaments, I never thought about Cody. I didn't think, oh, he's actually injured right now from that same thing. I never thought about it. So, and literally when I finished the match, I kissed the ring, and someone pointed out, oh, just like his coach. I'm like, oh yeah, he did that. I'm like, this is not intentional. It's just happening. Cody and I guess we have a lot more in common than I think. And I would like to think we clicked because the first time I stepped into a wrestling ring and we had a trained match, where we used to, or the first day they said to us, we're gonna take the heat, which is we're just gonna kick the shit out of you, and you're just gonna,
Right.
act it like it hurts and take the pain and not get up. So that day, everyone was like tagging in and out, us against the trainers, which were Coach QT, Coach Luke, and Coach Cody Rhodes. Luke Sampson, of course. So I wanted to go in, and I knew they were gonna go easy on all of us, but I didn't want that. So what I did was I tagged myself in like a heel would, like, I don't give a shit, because they kept saying tag this and tag that, and I didn't wait. I just tagged in, and while I'm going in, Coach Luke, which is like, I don't know, 200 feet tall. I don't know. He's so big. He stood right there, and I said, "What did I say?" I said, I don't remember what I said. I just said I wanted to tease him, and I wanted to make him go angry. I said, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you," or something. I don't remember what I said. I just said something to piss him off, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna do that to me?" And he hit me so hard into the stomach, kicked me so hard. I love it. And then he said, QT jumped in. He's like, "Give him to me. I want him." I knew what I was doing. I wanted to provoke them. QT came in and gave me a pile driver on my first day. Everyone feared for my life. He gave me a power bomb, and he kept saying, "Stay down." And I was like, okay, I was trying, but I didn't know how long. So he tagged in Cody. So Cody came in, and guess what he did?
What?
He gave me a pedigree.
Huh.
I took a pedigree from Cody Rhodes, and that was not recorded. I hated myself for not recording it because, of course, I couldn't. But that moment, oh my God, I wrestled QT, Luke, and Cody on my first, let's say, not non-official match, and they beat the shit out of me. And because Cody knew that I was trying to be a heel, he said, "Kick out at 1." I'm like, what? Should I? Yeah, that was so much fun. So yeah, Coach Cody and I, we have a lot in common, I guess, but I never really realized it.
And the last bit of the match against Matt was that you actually dedicated that match to your dad, right?
Yeah, that was a special moment. My dad was the worst kind of dad you could imagine for a Middle Eastern guy. He always said no. He never believed in me or whatever. But when I grew up, we formed a bond together. We became closer. So I surprised him one day with this tattoo I have on my arm. I don't know if you noticed, I was pointing at it.
Yeah.
It's on my bicep. So it says, "My heart belongs to Daddy," which is a song, but I want to have my dad on me. So I pointed at it without planning it. I just did it. And I started kicking Matt because I wanted to show my father that, yeah, this dream where I still believe he thinks is stupid, of course, but it makes me happy. It makes me who I am. And when he saw that, I recorded his reaction, my father's reaction. He went ballistic. He's like, did they just mention me? I'm like, yes. And he was so happy because, his son is doing his thing, but he's still mentioning his dad. I love that. I thanked the commentary personally after that. I was so happy.
Well, you mentioned your arm tattoo. It's like armor. That's kind of like a sleeve.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is the armor tattoo. I actually did that in America.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like, I think the first week I was there, after 1 week of training, I did it, came back, and QT was like, "What an idiot." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Why would you do a tattoo while we're training?" I'm like, "Because I want it for the showcase. I can't do it at the end." So yeah, it was I think that I wanted so badly because it represents a lot. All my tattoos represent something in my life, and this one represents, no matter how hard things get and how many punches I get in life, I never will be broken because the armor never breaks, no matter how much you try to break it.
How long did it take you to get that?
Well, I mean, it took. I don't want to lie. It's either 6 or 8 hours. I think it's 6 hours,
Okay.
but it might be 8. It might be 8. I'm not. I don't remember. Okay, so it's 8 hours with the breaks and lunch break and whatever. But like him working on it, it was 6 hours. It took a long time. And I actually was watching Netflix, so I can forget the pain. I was watching Dahmer, the series, and I watched like almost all the episodes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is there any plans for new ink in the future?
I mean, I just got a new one. I just got a new one last week.
That's right, the Fallen Angel, right?
Yes, the Fallen Angel. This has a lot to do with also my wrestling persona, which is I see myself as the devil himself. But I'm not going to say that because someone else said it. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of intensities that I think are sinful and wrong. And I shouldn't think like that. I shouldn't want to hurt someone. I actually have those thoughts. And before wrestling, before I went there, I used to take all that anger on a sandbag, or when I trained in mixed martial arts, on people. And I loved it. It feels good. But I didn't want to actually go up to someone and hit him. I wanted a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I relate to the sinful thoughts and the bad thoughts. And I see them in my wrestling persona a lot. Actually, I was a babyface on my match, right?
Right.
And I didn't want that. I really didn't want that. I wanted to be the heel so badly, but I had no choice. They said, oh, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. So I was like, okay. About that match also, I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
This is a surprising fact. I don't know if I should say it, though. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to care. I'm just going to say it. I was supposed to lose. Everyone backstage said, oh, you're losing tonight. You're losing. I'm like, okay. All right. No problem. And I had a lot of questions that night. And I was like, so if I go to another company and say I want to win, is that a bad thing? And they looked at me up and down like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, no, I'm just asking like a question. Do people say if they want to win or not? Like, I don't know what happens in every company. He's like, no, the promoter decides. I'm like, okay. And they're like, do you want to say something else? I'm like, no. And then go and come back and ask another question. So something inside of me was like, that might be my only match. And I don't care if I lose. I just wanted one victory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And QT was like, just forget it. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And I left. So nothing was serious, of course. They were joking. Prior to the match, Matt came up to me and said, by the way, the last move I'll do is going to really hurt. I'm like, okay. He's like, no, I'm serious. You're going to have to take it. I'm like, I did take it the past week 4 times. One of them came, like he wanted to clothesline me, like clothesline to hell, something like that. And I took one to the chin by mistake and almost broke my chin like days ago from that match. And I was like, I never back down. So why the hell is he saying that? I just knew something was wrong, but I'm like, you know what? Let's ignore that. And we had that match, and I put him in the submission move, and he was supposed to pick me up with one hand and drop me on my back. I was ready. And when he slapped the mat, if the camera went to my face, there was another camera, the other angle next to my face. If they showed the footage, you would see the shock on my face. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, someone just screwed up and it's not me. I swear it's not me. I was afraid because I didn't want the coaches, especially QT, to think that I did this.
Right.
You know, like did it to himself. Like, and the referee just said, you won. I'm like, okay. And I just closed my eyes, almost cried. I said, no, don't cry. I stood up, went to the back, and immediately said, "Where is Matt?" And they said, "He's upstairs." I went there and said, "What the hell?" He's laughing. I'm like, "Oh?" He's like, "QT said, let him win." I'm like, "Oh my God, don't do that to me." And I went to QT, almost cried, and he's like, "You heard the guy. You made him submit." I'm like, "No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. He just told me you told him." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just fucking with you." He's like, he's so kind, and he and I had this, like, I don't know. He knew how much I cared about his spinning, and he knew everything he said I took to heart. And so I don't want to say he respects me. He knows this guy, unlike most of the class, not most others in the class, he will listen to every word I say. He used to have eye contact every time he teaches us something. He knew I was listening all the time, whenever he talks. So I was so grateful for him. He gave me that win. He wanted to see my surprised face, and he got to see that. So yeah, that was a special moment for me.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about your tattoos, and one of your tattoos is inspired by Attack on Titan.
That is true. I love that you know that. I love it.
Can you tell us about your love of Attack on Titan?
Ooh, I might speak for 2 hours now. I think, and I'm sure, Attack on Titan is my favorite thing, movie, series, whatever the country is. I love Attack on Titan. It's the perfect thing from start to finish. And the moment Eren Yeager, the protagonist, said these words, I knew that deep in my heart, I love that character more than anything else. Because I knew exactly what he was doing when most people did not. Like the people who didn't read the manga and watched it for the first time. He was so harsh and he wanted to break his best friend's hearts. But I knew what he was doing. He just didn't want them to get hurt by him. And so he said what he said, but at the end of the day, when he said, I'm free, nothing I do or say anyone's making me do, I felt, oh my God, my entire life, my own father kept saying, oh, someone told you to do that, or your friends are bad, or whatever, or you want to, oh, I heard this a lot, by the way. They keep saying to me, you want to be American so bad. You act like Americans. You're not American. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be anyone else. That's who I am. I am not going to be caged by tradition. When I did the tattoos, by the way, this is not okay in my country. Everyone stares at me and everyone looks at me in a dirty look. But in your country, it's the default, like it's normal.
Right.
I didn't do it to be like the Americans, but I wanted to do it, and Americans do it. So I don't understand why people keep saying, oh, you're just trying to imitate them. Be like everyone else. I'm not. I am who I am, and this is it. This is me not trying to be anyone else.
No.
I'm just free.
And that's awesome. I am curious. Did you finish the anime? Did you the last episode?
Oh yeah. I finished the manga and the anime.
Okay. So how did you feel about Eren? Because you said, Eren was one of your favorite characters. How did you feel about his heel turn?
It's definitely a heel turn. I loved it, but to be honest, I didn't like what he said at the end when it was the paths and he was saying the truth.
Yeah.
I didn't like what he said. I loved him as a heel, period. Like, you don't have to be nice anymore. He kept saying that he did it for them and he didn't want to hurt them. That's not what I liked about his character. I liked that he thinks everyone wants to kill his people, including himself. No one gave a fuck. So why should I? So to me, it's very controversial, but I feel like I'm on Eren's side. At the same time, that moment they showed the child screaming, Oh my god, goosebumps. Goosebumps. It showed that no matter how much you are right, you can never say everyone deserves it because that child definitely did nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
So his heel turn was amazing, and I loved it till the very end.
Are you just Attack on Titan, or do you watch other animes as well?
I watch other animes, but my style is not the original anime style. I don't like One Piece. I don't like the over-the-top anime. I like realistic anime that has not just anime, even movies. I don't like ghost movies. I like killer movies, slasher.
Okay.
I like something that I can feel like it's real. So I watched the first anime I watched was Alpha Light. I loved how there's a lot of oppression and hating someone from birth for no reason. It gave me a lot of love to anime to start with that. I continued with the what is it called? I forgot the name. Let me check. Oh yeah. How did I forget that? My all-time fave when I was a child was Case Closed. If you know it, Detective Conan.
Yes, I know that one.
This one is all about murder and solving cases. I love that kind of show, and to this day, I watch it. I love all those types of anime. I love Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Death Note. Death Note, of course, the very first heel turn in anime.
The most
Yeah, that
heel
was.
turn.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what's the scary part? I keep telling that to people, and they get scared of me because I mean it. I am on Light's side. Like I don't see him doing anything wrong. Like he's killing people who deserve to be killed. I don't see that as wrong. I know that people want to have a system to live by, but people going to prison is just not gonna teach anyone anything. That's how I feel. I mean, not any kind of sentence. I'm talking about death sentences and people who rape and kill. Why are they alive? Do you know what I mean? I mean, you might disagree. It's just me having this dark side. So these thoughts are the thoughts I'm talking about when I say I'm the sinner.
I get what you mean. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of go to your Silent Hill cosplay.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Can you tell us about how you made it? Because it was very professionally done, if I'm being honest.
Thank you. I'm so grateful you said that because I did it all by my hands. It took like a month and a half. I was very upset when it didn't go right and I had to redo something. It's the first cosplay I do from start to finish, the whole headpiece and the sword. The clothes, I didn't do them. So I was so excited to wear it and do it. It took me months, but to be honest, I didn't do it myself because I learned from YouTube and a lot of people did them already. So I took the measurements and saw how they did them, and then I did it my own style. But without them, I think I would have been a little lost because the diagrams are very hard to do at the beginning, and the inside and out, the how you can look through it, it needs a lot of. I saw a lot of videos that helped, but and here where it gets sad, when I wore it, I was ashamed to go out in it. I didn't want anyone to see me in it because it was so big. It's lifelike, but my body was so thin, was so small, it looked like a joke. It really looks like a joke, like a skinny person inside the big head. And it made me feel like, why can't I get bigger? And I want to be bigger. It's just not in my hands. I'm trying so hard.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, the big head with the, slender body, it adds to the macabre of the character.
Well, maybe because I know the character is muscular and tall, and I'm comparing myself to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know the look. If it was not a certain look, I would have agreed with you. But literally, if you Google his name, all muscle everywhere. So that's the only thing I was lacking for a perfect costume.
What kind of inspired you to do this cosplay? Because as far as I know, that's the first cosplay you've actually created.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make it for like years now, but I finally did it. I noticed that year, which is last year, months ago, I noticed that every time I cosplay, every Halloween, I'm a serial killer. I'm like, what the hell? This is not intentional, but what the hell? The year I went to the Nightmare Factory camp, we had Halloween there. We celebrated. We all wore costumes and came to the camp. And guess who I was?
Who?
I was Jeffrey Dahmer. You have no idea what happened to Cody Rhodes' eyes when I said who I am. I felt like he's like, oh no, no, no. He hated it. I love that I shocked him because at first he thought I was the Blade, Butcher and Blade from AEW, because I wore the same. What does he wear? The black, the apron with the gloves, and he thought I was him. So I was talking like Jeffrey, and I said, "My name is Jeffrey Dahmer," and he's like, "Oh shit." He went from 10 to 0 like so fast. I loved it. So yeah, I was Jeffrey Dahmer last year, 2022. 23, I was Pyramid Head, and I did a lot of killers because I not relate, but like I love heels. I love the bad guy. It just feels right because honestly, every time I go out anywhere, here, your country, other countries, people stare at me like I just spit on their face. For no reason. Like, I don't know what's with my face, but they hate it. Like, immediate hate. And that got me to where I am, where I know I should be a heel. Because I'm not lovable. I know I'm not. And I'm gonna take it to the grave. I know I'm not. So when they said you're gonna be a baby face, do you have any idea how fearful I was that people would like just stare at me and not clap when I entered? And it was my idea to what?
I get that.
It was my idea to get the flag last minute that says prove them wrong because, I want to prove everyone wrong. And people loved it in that building, especially my friends. They were cheering so hard for me. God bless their hearts. I can hear Jessica's voice in that video. I love her. So they were cheering me and they loved the sign because they're like, okay, now we know a lot in 2 seconds about this character.
Right.
I wanted to prove people wrong. And compared to sizes, even if you go to YouTube and read the comments, everyone is saying Matt has the body. No one's even mentioning I was in the match. It's like he was wrestling himself. And I'm okay with that. But when you see these two bodies, one of them looks so good and the other is like the underdog. And that's what they wanted. They want me to be the underdog. I even got someone who works with Darby Allin.
Okay.
He came up to me. He was so nice. He introduced himself. He said, are you a fan of Darby Allin? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I see something in you that looks like him. You two are the same kind of, let's say, smaller size, but he's also mysterious and dark. But he gave me a lesson. He said, because we did a promo that day, and I didn't mention where I'm from. I just said I came from a dark place. And he told me, you can say where you're from. Darby Allin says where he's from, and it still gets the world behind him, even though he's still mysterious. And I love that. I love that comment. I love that advice. And to this day, I'm thinking about it.
Well, obviously, the cosplay Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your love of Silent Hill?
Okay, I am actually not a big fan of the game.
Huh, really?
I love the first movie,
Okay.
and the thing that made me love the not the game, the characters, is actually Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started playing the game, and he was right there, and I'm like, "Oh, what is that?" My friend was like, "Oh, it's another video game. They brought that killer, just like uh, uh, Ghostface and other killers like Chucky. Right now, they just brought him." So I had to like learn just now, like 2020, who the Pyramid Head is, and then I watched the movie. I'm like, okay, good. That's a good movie. And then I saw videos from the video game. I'm like, okay, not my kind of game. I don't like shooter games or any kind of, let's say, I don't know. My gaming experience is very unique. Yeah, I like Hitman. Do you know Hitman?
Yes, I know Hitman.
I love these kind of games. Stealth. I love stealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's fair to say that you're not a big fan of Fall Guys, no?
Oh, yes, I am. I
yeah.
actually am. Because my friend plays it, and I like playing with my friends online because we just laugh for no reason. Even Dead by Daylight, the reason we still play it every single night at this time, by the way, we play it this time, midnight, in my country. We play it because every time it's the different experience because my friend yells and screams like an actual killer is hunting him. And in Fall Guys, when we lose or we fall, we just laugh. So yeah, these kind of games are fun.
Well, I've watched one of your videos where you played Fall Guys, and at the ending of the video, you were like, yeah, I don't like this.
Well, I was specifically talking about solo playing, and I was trying a new game mode.
Okay.
I was supposed to collect something. I'm like, okay, I don't like this. So yeah, it's not the game itself. It's just the solo mode and that game mode specifically. Yeah, just that. Yeah.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually wrote a song that was performed by Stillman, no?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
How did that come about?
Oof, we're going deep now. This is actually something very personal, and to this day, I'm like, take it down, because this has nothing to do with others, but it's something I made, so I want to share it with everyone. Um, so it's a song I wrote, which I write all the time, by the way. I write songs, uh, I write series. I'm writing my own anime. I write a lot of stuff. I like to write. Um, and so this song, I was supposed to write it down, have a singer sing it, and give it to the love of my life. And I wanted to dedicate that song word by word because that's how I felt as a birthday gift. And so, yeah, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us about your love of Harry Potter?
Actually, it's not me, it's my best friend. He loves Harry Potter. And every time he tells me, let's watch the entire thing, I'm like, are you serious? I cannot do this again and again and again. I love Harry Potter, but not obsessed with it. I cannot watch the movies again. We went to the Harry Potter, what's it called in London? How they made it? I forgot the name.
The Universal Studios?
Yes, but it's only for Harry Potter, the whole building.
Okay.
And we went there in London. What?
The Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
I think so. I'm not sure, but it's in London. So if you Google it, it's gonna come up. And we went there, and we spent the whole day there. It was so nice, but I am not obsessed with it. I'm a normal fan with it, but he loves it so much. So I took him there, and we had so much fun. I had these. They told me details about the movie that was like, whoa. Are you a fan of it?
I'm a low-key fan. I never I never read the books, but I've seen all of the movies.
That's okay. I'm not a good reader. I don't like reading because I fall asleep, so I rather watch movies too. But yeah, you're still a fan if you watch the movies. Do you remember the little people, the goblins? I think they're called.
Yeah.
The judges. You remember them?
Yes. the
So
judges.
we went to a place there, and they talked about how they made the skin on their hands and how long it took. I'm like, wait, did they have a moment? The girl said, no, they were in the background the entire time. I'm like, wow, wow. That's how much detail went to these movies. They took, I couldn't even touch their hands. They were so expensive, and like they were made from material that is sensitive. So I love that.
Well, I think that's a great segue into the colossal question. Let's say that they're making.
Okay,
Let's say that they're making a movie about you. Every movie
okay,
has a soundtrack. What would be the first
okay.
3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Ooh. Whew. First three songs?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. It's a very hard question. I never thought of that. I mean, I know what I love, but I don't know if it's. You mean it should represent my life, right?
I mean, not it can, but like you're the producer of the movie. You could put whatever you want in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. So I love a song that represents who I am by Adam Lambert. It's called "Under Outlaws of Love."
Okay.
This one, it just talks of how I've been alive and how I was treated and who I am. I love the song Paparazzi by Lady Gaga
Okay.
because I'm a hopeless romantic. That's just who I am. and and honestly, I love the song Swan Song. It's called Swan Song by Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
It just feels like giving up. Like, why are we doing this? Life should be fun. And yeah, these are the songs that came to mind. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Mostly sad songs, actually, if you knew that. They're all sad.
Well, those solid
Sorry.
songs to say the least. Now
Mhm.
that we have the soundtrack down, then we write the
Mhm.
script, and then we go to casting. Who plays Jin?
Okay.
And you can't say
Oh.
yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Oh, okay. Okay, someone comes to mind, but I don't think he looks like me. Is that okay?
That's fine.
I mean, the only person that came to mind, because I know he and I have the same body movement and facial expressions, Jake Gyllenhaal. I
Okay.
would love to see my story done by him. Oh my God, that would be like a dream come true.
Hell yeah.
But I never thought of that question either. I love that question.
Now that we have you casted, every
Yeah.
movie has a supporting cast. Who would
Mm-hmm.
be 3 people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Oof. I mean, my dad has to be there, right? I mean, he's the protagonist next to me. He was there through everything. I don't know who would play my dad. Um, I think I want to say, what's his name? I forgot his name. Oh my God. No. Oh, Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
I think he would do amazing as my father.
Okay.
Who else? My okay, okay. Um, I don't know if I should say this though. Um, I want to say my lover has to be there, right?
Okay.
The person I fell in love with for all those years. I don't know. I don't know who would play who.
I mean,
Um,
we could leave it up to casting if you'd like.
I hope so. I don't know because I really don't. I never thought of these questions, so I don't know who looks like who and who could take that role. So I don't know. Maybe.
It don't have to look exactly like them. I mean, you're being played by Jake Gyllenhaal, after all.
Yeah. I mean, I just love the guy. He doesn't look like me at all. I just love him. Maybe. What's his name? Fuck. I know who I'm thinking about, but I just don't know their names. His name. I'm gonna get it.
What was he in?
I think the Hateful Eight. No, Idris Elba.
Okay.
Idris Elba. Oh my God! Can you imagine Jake Gyllenhaal and Idris Elba? Can you imagine that? So, yeah, these two. I would put my little sister in there.
Okay.
Because she's my only real support throughout everything. She never judged me. She never was like, she was always the one who understands me and was there for me. I would love to see Jennifer Lopez play her. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, this is sounding like a major blockbuster. We got Jake Gyllenhaal, Brendan Fraser.
It's like a sitcom or like a comedy movie.
Oh no, this is a blockbuster to say the least.
Oh, thank you.
You could pre-order the tickets now.
Hopefully.
Now, onto a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
Oh, no. No. I like my pizza plain. Just classic margherita.
Okay. So, anti-pineapple.
Well, I'm anti a lot of food, so that's not fair to ask me. You should ask someone else. Someone who's a foodie.
But you prefer no pineapple.
What?
So you prefer no pineapple?
Yes.
Well, the foodies that are either pro or anti will definitely tell you that you are anti and that you can't sit with them.
Well, I've heard that before, so nothing new here. Yeah.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
Ooh, I guess Charizard. Because I have that anger in me. He's always angry. Remember the good old season 1?
Yes.
How angry he was always on? I can relate. He's always trying to prove that he's the best, but also doing it in the worst way possible. Yeah, which leads me to the story that I was going to tell you about. So, yeah, we're going to go to that soon.
Oh, tell it now, if you'd like.
Sure. So I have 2 stories I want to tell you.
Sure.
Which one do you? Okay, I'm gonna choose. So the first one is, as many of us know, we had some wrestling guests come to the camp of the Nightmare Factory. We had guests like Austin and Colton Gunn, Sean Spears. That was awesome. So I tore my ligaments the day prior Sean Spears came. So I came up to him and said, "Can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Sure." And I said, I think I broke something because no one knew. I didn't tell anyone, by the way, till the camp finished. I didn't tell them I tore my ligaments. I just said, "Oh, it's getting better." So I didn't tell anyone. So I went to him and said, "I think I broke my ankle. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of pain. So should I wrestle if I can or not?" He's like, "Yes, if you think you can do it, don't tell anyone, just do it." So I went to that ring and I had to do a suplex to another guy. He was a little heavier, so I did it wrong. He not fell, but like it looked bad. It wasn't bad, no one got hurt, but it didn't look professional.
Okay.
And so I couldn't stand up after that. I couldn't stand up. So I was sitting there and said, "I'm sorry, I think I'm gonna stop." Sean came inside the ring and said, "Okay, stop. He said, "I lied." I'm like, what's happening? And he said, "Earlier today, Jin came to me and asked that question, and I said that. I lied. if you ever feel like you're in pain, you cannot perform well, you could injure someone else. So get out of the ring. And I got out and I was almost gonna cry because I didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't think of it that way. I just wanted to not look weak and say, oh, I can't wrestle today. Right. So I wrestled even though I could have injured someone else. I didn't think of that. So that was a life lesson, not just a wrestling lesson. I have to think about others. And if I'm hurt and I'm going to wrestle, I have to make sure I don't hurt the other person. I cannot carry them if my leg hurts. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So yeah, that was a very intense day, let's say. And he told me to get out, and I got out and I went like further from the class. And then Coach Luke said, "You're not punished. Just stand here." I'm like, okay. So I was very upset with myself. Of course, I love Sean, and actually, Sean Spears' school was my secondary choice. Oh, I would have went there. Yeah, because I saw videos of him chopping people on YouTube. Oh my God, this is the kind of guy that I want to get chopped by. He hurts someone. He actually goes all the way. So yeah. And I actually was going to ask him to chop me, but I was like hesitant. I'm like, no. I don't need 2 injuries in one day. So yeah, that was one day. And then there was that worst day in the whole camp. I hate that day. I hate speaking about it. I hate remembering it, but I want to talk about it. So weeks after I was in the camp, I started to get, before we start, I have diagnosed with clinical depression already. So going in there, being alone for weeks, overthinking it, and having all that a long time got me a lot of negativity in my head. And I kept saying to myself, and I wrote it down, don't speak. So the first day they told us, don't talk back, don't ever say anything about the coaches, respect them, whatever. And I know that I have to. I want to respect them. I don't want to disrespect anybody. That day, after I think 6 weeks in, I was doing this bit with Matt. Also, he was there with me in that ring. We were doing sunset flip, I guess. I was doing that. We did it perfectly, and Coach QT was inside that ring, and he was like, okay, Matt, perfect, whatever. And he came to me and said, your head. Stop hitting your head. He said that from day one, which we did the back bombs, and I just hit my head. And I was in so much pain because I didn't know you have to tuck your chin to not actually get your head to the mat. And I couldn't get it for a long time because every time I do a front flip or something, my head goes first. So he just said, watch your head. Jin, watch your head. And as I was walking out, I was like, don't do it. And I just said it. It just came out. I said, so you're going to compliment everyone and shit on me? Ooh. And he's like, what did you just say? And Matt was right there, like outside. He's like, no. I'm like, it just came out. And I was actually angry. I wasn't sad. I was angry. And he said, what did you just say? And I said it again. And he's like, what are you talking about? I complimented you. I said, great job. I did this, I did that. What are you talking about? And I said, yeah, but you always say I hit my head. He said, because you do. So I was like, I know, but I just need encouragement. I need you to tell me how to not hit my head. He's like, I taught you. I brought you in the ring. And we had this back and forth. And oh my God, the entire class stood there and looked at me. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was so angry. I knew I was wrong, but I couldn't stop. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just continued. And then I said what actually was bothering me. It just came out. I said, no one here respects me or wants to be in that ring with me. He's like, why would you say that? And I said, every time I step into that ring and you say, anyone volunteers, no one comes in that ring until you choose someone. And he's like, and what does that have to do with me? I didn't do anything. So I'm like, back and forth, but I knew I was losing. I knew there was nothing to say. It was just built up frustration. And eventually he got so mad at me. He's like, I don't want you in my class anymore. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, just let it go. He's like, no, get out. I don't want you in my class. I'm gonna send you to some other wrestling school. I'm gonna give them great recommendations, but I don't want you in my class. And I was literally kicked out of the class. I went to my car and just cried for 2 hours. I couldn't believe what I just did. I knew I shouldn't have done that. It just came out. I guess it's a month and a half of no one to talk to, no one to vent to, and just came out. So after I waited for them to finish the class, I went back in there, and I wanted to talk to QT, and he said, come, I want to talk to you, Jen. He took me to his office, him and his wife, Carolyn, which I love. We sat there, and the first word came out of my mouth, I just cried. I couldn't. It was literally, it had nothing to do with him. It was all frustration. And I said, I never, ever meant to disrespect you. What I just did, it just came out. I swear I wasn't trying to do anything to get attention. I just felt like I wanted you to compliment me because I care, especially what you think. I don't care what anyone thinks. I just care what you think. And so when you care about one person's opinion and they don't give you exactly what you want to hear, you just, I guess, build some frustration. And I started to apologize, and I told him I will apologize in front of anyone. This has nothing to do with the camp and me wanting to be here. It's just I never wanted to disrespect you. He was like, it's fine. They just told me you were not even from here. It makes more sense. Now I was angry, and it was nice to get all that frustration out on you. I was just laughing. We talked it out. He sat with me for like half an hour, got to know me. He gave me a lot of boost to my confidence because I know my abilities. I know I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst. And it felt like I was the worst because no one wanted to wrestle with me. And I told him that. He said, I noticed that no one wants to wrestle with you. And I was like, why? This happens to me in my country. This happens in your country. What's happening? And he's like, maybe you're up the wrong way. So it was like, I don't know. I guess I'm not a friendly guy. I don't know. It just was, it didn't work for me at the beginning. But after that day, the weekend happened, and then the next Sunday, I think, we went there, or Monday, and I stood there, apologized to everyone. He didn't tell me to apologize, by the way. I wanted to do it. He's such a shy person. He didn't even look up. He's holding his phone. He's like, okay. Like, I did not mean it. I was angry, and I took it out on all of you. I wasted your time. And I told him, if you don't want me here, I'm going to leave. No bad will, no ill will. I just want you to forgive me. And he said, no, I want you to stay. And I stayed. Ever since that day, the Canadians, which were Jessica, Matt Black, who else? I don't want to forget names. Jeremy, my guy, he was the one who came up to me after that day, and he said, I understand what happened to you. I feel the exact same way, but you just have to let it out in the right place, the right time, with the right person. And you just did the wrong thing. And he understood that I was not mad at anyone. I was not hateful. I was just trying to prove them wrong, let's say. I wanted to give my all. I wanted everyone's respect, especially the Canadians who were already professional wrestlers. And they came up to me after that, and they said, we like you. We actually care about what you do in that ring. We see potential in you. And that meant the world to me. I guess I just wanted to hear that. You know what I mean?
No, I
And Jessica was there. Jessica was there for me. Megan, Devin, Dylan Davis, they were all there for me. And I loved them so much to death. Ever since that day, we started to talk more and like go out, and we were having a lot of matches together, and I loved wrestling them. I had matches against them. Jeremy and Jessica, they tagged team. They did a double team on me. I loved it. So yeah, and Coach QT, ever since that day, he joked around all day about, oh, don't get Jin angry. And I'm just laughing because like I love that he doesn't have these walls. We don't need to have those walls, and I love that about him. I just love QT so much.
And I mean, somebody like Jeremy Prophet coming up to you, the guy clearly knows what frustration is all about. He's
Oh yeah,
one of the biggest unknown Canadian wrestlers out there today.
yeah. He's been wrestling for more than 10 years.
Oh yeah.
He's respected. He's professional. I saw him wrestling in the first time in the ring. And I'm like, what the hell? This is not fair. I'm never gonna be the best in class. What the hell? He's like better than most wrestlers. Like what the hell? I'm like, he should not be here. What the hell, man? I love him. I love him so much. He's so professional. I love it.
All right. Now, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
No, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Well, I'll spell it out. T is
Okay.
for terrible, H is for hell, U is for
Wait.
ugly, and G is for jail. Because a Doug can't spell.
Thug.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a Tracy Smothers special. We love the late great Tracy Smothers, and we're trying to keep the memory alive on the show.
Okay.
The weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Would you
Uh-huh.
ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
In a wrestling match?
Yes.
I wouldn't, but I would wrestle the shit out of it in a mixed martial arts MMA fight. I would do it. I would definitely do it. Yeah, I did it with a sandbag, a standing sandbag, and I had a full fight with it. I hurt myself. I don't know how, but like, I did a lot of things, including the angle slam. I did everything. So yeah, I could do that, I guess.
Well, just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten
What?
Man match. That's an Arnaman match that lasts for 2 weeks.
What? Are you serious?
100%.
Why would he do that?
Well, the Rock was the champion and he wanted the title.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. He wanted to win against The Rock.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did
Well,
not win against The Rock, unfortunately.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Next time you talk to Jeremy, you might ask about Psycho Mike. They know each other.
I definitely will. I definitely want to know more. I have to know the real story. Oh God. That was nice to hear.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself
Yeah.
in 5 years?
What I want is to actually be on the level of Darby Allin or of John Moxley. I see myself in the House of Black. I actually see myself there.
Okay.
I would love to wrestle every week, bloody matches, hurting someone, getting hurt. I would take a lot of dangerous spots because I love this sport more than I love human beings. I loved it ever since I was a child. I don't know what it is, but violence is just, it's a turn on to me. I don't know why. I love wrestling. I love everything about it. I love all aspects about it. The commentary, the storytelling, everything. So I see myself wrestling and actually being in a big company, having a contract and wrestle every week. That is a dream for me. And I'm working so hard in the gym to get to that level where I get noticed by all those companies.
And people should go out of their way to see the match. Your that you had at the Nightmare Factory, right?
Thank you so much. I love that, man. Honestly, can I be honest here? Can we be honest here?
Yeah, obviously.
I think it's the match of the night. Don't you agree?
Oh, without
I
doubt.
mean, Jeremy was supposed to have a match with a newbie like me, someone who trained with us, and he got injured that week, and he couldn't wrestle. So
Okay.
his match was literally canceled, and they got another opponent for him. So that was very sad that day. So I was like, I should main event. But they're like, no, the Battle Royale is gonna main event. I'm like, ugh, why? But yeah, I think the match was perfect in every aspect. The ups and downs, the hard hitting. There were spots that if you zoom in, it was so real. It went wrong. Like he stomped on my stomach so much that he stomped on my chin, my face. Like it was an actual fight. We fought each other. We didn't wrestle. Everything hurt. Everything hurts. So yeah, I love that match so much. It means a lot to me that it's my first match. People live and die and not have, at least not in the independence, let's say, not in their beginning. I had the best first match ever, in my opinion, as in an independent scene or in a camp or literally my first match. It's my first match.
And I will grab that match from YouTube, and I will put the link to the match in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
They should definitely check it out and see the details of that match, man. Love it.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Hell yeah.
This is our
That's also QT's best the best thing that comes out of his mouth. Every time we say, "Oh, I got hurt but got up," or "I got bloody," he says, "Hell yeah." That's like the best nod ever.
This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
All time.
Yes.
Claudio Clansonlo. Oh, sorry, I misspelled him. Claudio Castagnoli.
Worst
Definitely.
Wrestler. Worst wrestler.
What? Worst wrestler?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to say it. Miss Jackie. I don't know. I mean, she did have the worst match of all time, right? Jackie Gata.
Oh, Jackie Gata. Okay, yes.
Oh yeah.
I
That
can
match
see
with Trish, it was bad. It was really bad.
All right.
Yeah, but I love the girl. I love her so much.
I will accept that answer.
Yeah. Also, I also define the worst wrestlers as the wrestlers who don't know how to actually hit and get hit. To me, someone who makes a joke out of wrestling is a bad wrestler.
Right. You're
Yeah.
main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Ooh. Malachi Black.
If you could come back. Yep.
Or can I say or?
Yep.
Will Ospreay. Oh my god.
Alright. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Weirdly, I love Eminem's music theme, Melina.
Oh yeah.
Do you know it?
Yes,
I love it so much. It just gives you the vibe of like walk to the ring, take your time, hold the championship. When she won the women's championship and held it up like it's a trophy, I love that shit. Loved it. It's like you can see it, but don't touch it. Yeah.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
coming back.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast.
Well, I cannot give you any food references because I hate food. So Just forget it, man. I'm not gonna give it to you.
Squash, vegetable or fruit?
What do you mean?
Squash, is it a
Oh, you mean
vegetable
like?
or fruit?
Oh shit! I don't even know what squash is. I have to like translate it or something. Wait,
It's kind of like a pumpkin.
squash. Oh, okay, got it. What's the question? Is this a vegetable or a
Fruit.
fruit? I think it's a vegetable.
It is indeed
Am I wrong?
a fruit.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong.
It has
Yeah.
It has seeds. Tomato logic.
Oh, okay. All I know about it is like it looks like Halloween pumpkins.
Yes.
So I've never seen one in real life.
New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question: what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Ooh. I mean, you're asking the wrong person here because I am very into the sexy thing. I don't care if you're male, female, what's your sexuality, you need to have appeal. So I love it when wrestlers make their attire very appealing for the eye. Like the black stuff, I don't like it. The plain black. In New Japan, they just bring you the new wrestlers, they make them wear the black trunks.
Right.
I hate that. I hate that so much. It makes you feel like this wrestler is plain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, I actually wanted to wrestle in trunks, but I felt that's not who my wrestling character is. To me, I'm a very dominant dominatrix kind of wrestler who likes pain. So I wore those chains on my pants, and it represented a lot about my character. So to me, I don't care if it's trunks, tights, whatever you want to wear. It has to be you, not the name on it, not the color, but it represents who you are. So if you're someone who is, let's say Pac, I love Pac, by the way. His physique, he cannot wear pants. He has to show off those legs. You know what I mean? Oh my God, every time he's on TV, I'm like, oh my God, I hate my life. Why can't I have these legs? You know what I mean? Ricochet did that once. He wore trunks against Brock Lesnar, and everyone was like, what the hell? I love the change. Changing the gear is actually a good thing.
Yeah. Alright. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
About Darby Allin?
Yes.
Definitely, man. Of course. I talk about him all the time. I mean, not all the time, but ever since AEW debuted, he caught my eye. And I'm going to be honest, I, just like most wrestlers, were like, oh no, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get injured. And I am so grateful he did not, because I love what he does. I am inspired by what he does. He is, to me, the perfect creative superstar. The look, the history, the storytelling. He doesn't even talk much, and he doesn't have to. He just wrestles, and not one match. He didn't have one bad match. Not one. He can wrestle a broom stick or a bad wrestler and make him look good, because he does all the heavy work in a lot of his matches, and I love it.
But have you talked about him to a stranger in a supermarket?
Oh, I'm sorry. A stranger? I don't think I talk to strangers much, but I did talk about wrestling in front of strangers, not specific people, because they don't know who you're talking about.
Right.
So, no, I don't think I did, actually.
And that is the correct answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I took a long trip to that answer.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. That will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you so much for this opportunity for me to have my first interview, and hopefully people will get to know me more better thanks to you.
Absolutely. That's our job, and that's our motto is to introduce the people to new incredible wrestlers that they may have not have known about,
Thank you. It means a lot to me.
and give your fans a new insight on you as well.
Hopefully, yeah, they get to know more of me because I'm very not talkative to all people, let's say. Most of the people in the camp will be surprised by what I said in this podcast, I guess. I don't talk as much with them.
And once again, where can we find all things Jin on social media?
You can find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Melancholy. Sorry, at Jin Melancholy. And on Instagram, it's Jin.melancholy.
And you don't have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Give him a damn follow.
Thank you so much. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank people who actually believed in me because it's hard to do so. I trained in CrossFit by the trainee, the best in the world, Abdelaziz Al Khadr. I was trained in mixed martial arts by Sulaiman Al Mudayan. He's a champion. And of course, the Nightmare Factory, I was trained in professional wrestling by Cody Rhodes, QT Marshall, Luke Sampson, and Caroline. They were so sweet, and especially Luke Sampson, who was not advertised enough for me in the account. He is the person who never failed to answer all my questions and show me what I didn't understand. He was such a sweetheart, even though he's very scary looking. Yeah.
And of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Vote on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow me personally at Jane. You can follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on Dread, X, and Instagram. For information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, Jen, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Okay.
For our special guest, Jin Melancholy, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling Wit
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.